Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for coming tonight. Tonight, we are going to be doing your buyer template. If you've never set up a template before, they are super easy and it saves a lot of time moving forward when you actually are ready to type up a contract for a buyer. So first things first, you do need to have access into your transaction desk. If you don't know where to go to log in, it's actually in your Flex MLS. And if you don't already have it saved as a favorite up here on your favorites tab, if you go under the menu and go down a little bit, you're going to find transaction desk. If you don't have it started as a favorite, if you like hover over it, whatever that word is, and just click on it, then it will add it to your favorites tab. Otherwise, you can just click on it and it will take you to transaction desk login, which actually looks like this. And you scroll down and you click on transaction desk. You will need your NERDS number and your password. I believe your password the first time you log in is your last name, I believe, but I will double check on that. However, once you're in, this is what your screen is going to look like. Get rid of this stuff. Okay. This is what your screen's going to look like. It might not be as full as mine, but you'll be able to see a couple different tabs. You'll see transaction, AuthentiSign, email, upload, clause, and then transaction, forms, AuthentiSign, and documents over here. But for tonight's purpose, or tonight's class, I should say, we're going to be working on the left-hand side. Second from the bottom is templates. So we're going to click on that. Once you are in there, you're going to see transaction templates. Click on that again. Yours will probably be blank. You won't have anything. So you're going to come up here to the plus add, and we are going to name our template. So tonight we're going to be making the working with a buyer / purchase. You can name it whatever you want, just whatever's going to remind you this is the document or template I need when I'm writing an offer for a buyer. Purchase description, you can leave it blank, you can fill it in, whatever again is going to remind you what this template is used for. So once you have done that, go ahead and save it. I'm not going to save it because I don't want to create a duplicate. But once I have an actual template saved, this is what it will look like. Down below, you're going to see a couple different things. You're going to see checklists, you're going to see contacts. If you would like to add contacts, you are more than welcome to. You do not have to, but you can. Two of the things that you definitely want to save is who the broker is and who the buyer's agent is. If you want to add that here, you are more than welcome to. I'm going to click on this just so that you can kind of see what it looks like. Now it does have my name, my last name, my email, my preferred signature, my office, ProSmart Realty. The identifier, this is the office ID, ProSmart 01 or PSMT 01, and then the office license LC 626117000. This is something that you should go ahead and add either here or back on a different page, which I'll show you when we actually cover that in transaction desk. But this is something that would be on every single purchase contract that you type. And then the address, 4147 East Baseline Road, Gilbert, Arizona, 85234, and then the phone number is yours. Buyer's agent kind of seems repetitive, but you are the buyer's agent, so you would fill in the first, last name, email. You can do legal name or preferred signature, or you can just leave that blank because it'll autofill it out based on what you put here. Your identifier is your agent ID. Mine is TN218, and then your agent license. More than likely yours is going to be an SA for a sales agent, or if you have your broker's license, it's BR and then whatever you were given when you got your license. You do not need an address, but you can definitely put a phone number in there. Go ahead and save that. But those are the two contacts that you can definitely add now if you would like to. Okay, so the other two areas for your buyer template is going to be documents and folders, and then forms. But documents and folders, these are the documents that you would want to upload into your template. Once it's uploaded here, anytime you create a new file and you choose the buyer template, these are automatically going to populate. And these forms right here can be found in Paperless Pipeline under the Reference tab. Oops. I actually have it right here, so I'm just going to go there. Okay, Paperless Pipeline. If you don't have access to your Paperless Pipeline, go ahead and email Mike Vaughn. He will get you your username and your login and your password, sorry, and then you'll change that password once you get it. But once you log in, up here on this, oops, sorry, it keeps doing that. Right here, you'll see reference. If you click on that, first time you log in, you'll see this. You'll see a calendar and then docs. Go ahead and expand the docs tab. And then these are all the forms that are ProSmart specific forms. So the forms that you want to save is the commission adjustment form, the mold advisory, the pool safety notice, the wire fraud advisory, and which other one did I have? I had, oh, the lead-based paint pamphlet. Okay, so how do you get them uploaded here? In Paperless Pipeline, you just click on the form you want. So we'll just choose one, and that's the commission adjustment form. Open the document. Save it as a PDF somewhere on your computer. I would typically have some kind of filing system. Like, for example, I have ProSmart Realty file. Oops. Darn it. If I can get in there. There we go. And then I would just save it as commission authorization form, whatever it might be. Save it. Once saved, you can close out of that, save all the other ones. And then once you have all of these saved, so the commission adjustment form, lead-based paint pamphlet, mold advisory, pool safety notice, and the wire fraud, if you go up here to the Add Plus folder, Add Document, click the blue box, go to where you saved it at on your computer. Sorry, my computer's a little sensitive today. Commission authorization form, open that. It'll now upload it and it will now be in here. So this is the new one that I added. I don't want a double form, so I'm just going to quickly delete it, but you get the point. There should be 5 documents from Paperless Pipeline under the Reference tab that you will need to save and then upload into your template. Okay, these forms are contract specific. So what does that mean? That means that I can't really auto-populate things. So I can't just put an address in here because every property is going to have a different address. So there's nothing more that you need to do to these documents except for upload it into your template. Next, let's move on to forms. Again, you won't have anything here, but these are the forms that you need to upload. Addendum 1, Addendum 2, buyer pre-closing walkthrough, buyer contingency addendum, buyer clause addendum, counter offer 1. You can add a counter offer 2 if you'd like, completely up to you. I do have one. the solar addendum, the residential buyer inspection notice and seller response, HOA condominium planned community addendum, domestic water well addendum for a buyer. Again, we're working with a buyer. Buyer broker agreement to show property, buyer broker exclusive employment agreement, residential purchase contract, real estate agency disclosure and election buyer, seller compensation addendum. I'm going to delete this one because we do not need it anymore. And the buyer advisory. So how do you find these documents? Same kind of thing that we did with the documents above, except you go over here to the little plus sign, add forms, and you just search. So what I would do is I would go back and rewatch this class when you're at your computer setting up your template and take a screenshot of all the forms that you need to upload and then just start adding them. So for example, addendum 1. So I just put addendum, that's a keyword, but I know that I need addendum 1, I need addendum 2, I know that there was an additional clause addendum that I need. There was a buyer contingency addendum, so I'm going to click that. There was a domestic water well addendum, I'm going to click that. There was an HOA planned community addendum, on-site wastewater treatment facility. And solar addendum. And that, I believe, was all. So right now I've got 7 forms in my basket, but I know I needed more of that. A couple other forms that I know that we needed was the buyer walkthrough form. So I just put in a keyword, find the form I need, add it. Go back up to the search bar, put in another keyword, buyer advisory. I know that I need a buyer advisory. I know that I need the buyer broker agreement to show homes. I already added the buyer contingency. I do need a Binzer. And I think that's it for that one. And we'll just add a couple more just for fun. Let's see, what was another form that I know? Oh, the residential purchase contract. So if I put in the keyword residential, anything that has that comes up. So you just find the forms that you need and you add it. So once you have all of your documents in your basket, you can add. And if you want to add one at a time, you're more than welcome to. You would just find the one you want, click on the button, your basket will show one, add it, and then it will be auto-populated over here once it's added. But I don't want to double add, so I'm just going to close out of this. You would add them. Okay, perfect. So let's say you found all your forms and now you've got all of them in here. Yay. But that's not all that we're doing tonight. So some of these forms have information that carry from one contract to another, where some are property specific. For example, an addendum, not all contracts are going to have an addendum to it. So we can't really start putting stuff in that will carry from one offer to another because it's offer specific. So the forms that we can actually start filling out would be, for example, the buyer broker exclusive employment agreement and the buyer brokered agreement to show property. These are going to be very similar. But if you click on the form, I've already filled mine out, so yours is going to be blank, mine is not. But we know that our broker is ProSmart Realty, so you can put in ProSmart Realty. The agent is your name. You can keep the dates blank. You can check box 9, residential. We obviously always want to try to get a full commission, so 3%, I always put that on here. And that's it. Firm name on line 33, and then your name on line 34. because this is going to be on all of your buyer broker agreements, you can not auto, you can put those in here. And then anytime you do another transaction or pull up a buyer template, because you've already done this, it will auto input that info when you start a new transaction. So go ahead and add all that info and then come up here to the top, save and exit. Scroll back down, go to forms, buyer broker employment agreement. Same thing. Line 2 will be ProSmart Realty. Line 3 will be your name. Scroll down, line 13, check residential. Line 18, check as set forth in the real estate agency disclosure and election form. Scroll down to line 34, put 3%. Scroll down to line 112, put ProSmart Realty. Line 113, our address, 4147 East Baseline Road, Gilbert, Arizona, 85234. And then on line 114, you can put your name there. Go ahead and save and exit. Go back to your forms. Go down to, let's skip purchase contract. We'll come back to that. Let's go to real estate agency disclosure and election buyer. Line 1, put ProSmart Realty. Line 2, put your name. Scroll down. Line 48, line 50, check those boxes. Line 60, check buyer. Go ahead and save and exit. Now I know that I'm going through this a little quick. We will have classes that go over all of these forms in detail. Tonight's purpose was to just set up your buyer template so that you have it ready to go as soon as you get a contract or a client. Next, let's go to seller compensation addendum. Line 1, check buyer. Line 10, I'm actually going to save that or change that to 3%. So this is a form that you put in with all of your offers, and you will always want to try to get the full compensation. So I say make your template up for 3, always submit it for 3, especially if that's what your buyer broker agreement says, so that your client isn't responsible for any of your compensation, because you want the seller to pay for that. So go ahead and change it to 3. And that is it for that form. Go ahead and save. Go back into your forms. And the last form that we're going to do tonight is the residential purchase contract. Probably the most important other than the compensation form. Okay, so your cover page. You can do this one of 2 ways. You can pre-check these for your client, or when you send this out for your client to sign, you can drag little check marks to each of these boxes. It's completely up to you. If you pre-check them though, you just want to make sure that they initial this page when you send it out for their signature, just acknowledging the fact that they did review this and that those are checked for a reason. Okay, so on the purchase contract, line 11, earnest money. Go ahead and type out to be paid within 48 hours of contract acceptance. Line 12, type out additional funds to be paid at close of escrow. Line 13, buy a new ... loan. So the ... is what type of loan will it be? Will it be FHA? Will it be conventional? If it's cash, you don't put anything on line 13. On line 17, check other and then write out wire transfer personal check. Line 18, check escrow company. On line 37, pre-check the seller compensation form. Because again, if you are asking the seller to pay your compensation, it needs to be made part of the contract. So pre-check this. This should be checked on all of your offers moving forward. Scroll down. Line 111, appraisal, check buyer. While this line is negotiable, most buyers do pay for their appraisal. Title and escrow company. While you are welcome to choose a title company that you want to work with, we highly recommend you considering our affiliated company, title company, Snap Title. And our escrow officer is Patrick Bailey. And then there's also Amy Dalton. I have both of them just because Patrick sometimes isn't in the office. So this covers us both ways. But for training purposes, I'm just going to delete Amy and we're going to keep Patrick on there. The address 4145 East Baseline Road, Gilbert, Arizona 85234. Patrick at snaptitle.com. His phone number 480-870-8013. Scroll down. Check 242 sewer system. Line 293, check home warranty to be ordered by the buyer. 294, TBD, to be determined, to be determined. 295, not to exceed, put in a dollar amount. I just put $750. It can be really any dollar amount, $699. And then to be paid by seller. Again, this is negotiable, but we do want to try to make our offer in our buyer's favor. So, depending on the offer, we definitely want the buyer to get a home warranty and we want the seller to pay for it. Scrolling down. Okay. Section 8Q, this is going to be your information. So your agent name, that's your name, your MLS code, your broker license, or I'm sorry, your agent state license number or broker license number. 446, it's ProSmart Realty. Firm code is PSMT01. 447 is the address of our office, 4147 East Baseline Road, Gilbert, Arizona 85234. The firm state license number is LC626117000. Line 448, this is your information, your phone number and your email. Check buyer on line 450. Check seller on line 464. And then we're going to go ahead and save that. So imagine having to retype all this information from one offer to another. That takes a lot of time. That's the reason why we have these templates. It's pre-done. So when you get a new transaction, I'll do one real quick. Create a transaction. You name it. I typically name it the street number because sometimes you have repeat clients. So just doing the street number. So see template, click on that, and then scroll down and find your working with a buyer and purchase. You can import the data if you want. I don't. But you definitely can. So let's just, but you would need an MLS number. Okay, let's just do it. Let me just try it for training purposes. I'm thinking that this will auto-populate a lot of the information, like the cross agents info. But once we actually, in a future training class, I'm going to show you how to transfer the data from the MLS over into Transaction Desk, which does this part anyways, but we'll just do this See if it works the way I think it's going to. Oh, and I don't add me because for some reason it always enters my name and my info, and then I don't use the wizard. For you though, being a new agent, use the wizard. It will walk you through this step by step. But once you've created it, this is what is going to show up. And yeah, it auto-populated all of this information from the listing, which is nice. And if I go over to contacts, yeah, it did enter in the agent's info. But the reason why I wanted to do this is because if I go to residential purchase contract, because I chose that template that we just set up, look at that. It auto-populated what we already put on there. And by putting in the MLS number, it auto-populated the seller name, which is incorrect. I'd have to fix that. But it did put in the address, the assessor's number. It did not put the full legal description, which is not good. So we would have to change that. So I'm going to show you a different way in a different class just to make sure that you know the proper way to do that. But look, all of this auto-populated. Yay. Okay. Just wanted to show you that real quick. That's why we do the templates. Oh, okay. So one more thing for tonight, because it does have to do with your template, is on the left-hand side, third from the bottom, clauses. You can add clauses that you can choose. Well, you can pre-type, and then when you're typing your offer, you can choose it if needed. So if you click here, just come up here to the Add Plus, create a new clause, and then name it HOA and listing clause. Those are the two that you should have. I have a clause because my husband is my lender, and so I have to disclose that. So I have to make a clause for that because I use it on all of my buyer templates. Okay, so HOA. So when you create your HOA clause, this is what you should type. This offer is contingent upon the parties' execution of the HOA addendum once the fees payable upon close of escrow have been successfully negotiated. Seller shall deliver the HOA addendum with page 1 completed to buyer within 3 days after contract acceptance. Buyer shall provide notice of any HOA addendum items disapproved within the inspection period or 3 days after receipt of the HOA addendum, whichever is later. This is a clause that you would put in a contract if the HOA addendum was not pre-filled out and uploaded into the MLS. Just to kind of give you an idea of when you would need that clause. The second clause that you want to create is a listing clause. This listing clause is actually going to be more not used on a buyer contract. It's going to be used on a seller contract, but I do have it here, so I'm just going to have you go ahead and create it because it's not technically specific to the buyer template. It's just in our clauses. But the listing clause is something that I typed up because in a market where we're constantly adjusting prices, this just saves from having to send out a document over and over when you reduce the price. So it should state, agent has the authority to just adjust the price within X amount and X amount without additional written consent from the seller. That's it. Save. And you can make additional clauses if you want. These are just the two that I've created. Well, three. Because these are the ones that I use most often. So that is it for tonight's class. We will do a seller template later once we start working with the seller, but we will start now reviewing all of the actual addendums and forms that come with working with a buyer. Does anyone have any questions on the material that we covered tonight? Great. So I'll get this uploaded to the YouTube channel. If you have not visited it yet, it is just go to YouTube, and it's at Tina Nerland. But I'll get this video uploaded this evening so that you can go ahead and rewatch it and get your buyer template set up. If you have any questions or have any concerns or issues when you're doing your template, do not hesitate to reach out. I am always here and available to help. Have a great evening. I will see you next week.